We literally grew up in the business.
He's a third-generation business leader, dogged, determined, and driven.
Let's do a mock-up together with the food, get a better idea of what the event is going to look like.
And a successor to his family's catering business of more than 6 decades.
I would say I enjoy it because of family, because this is where family is, but also because I really enjoy being able to play and work at the same time. And for me, that's food.
30-year-old Reuben Ang is hell-bent on taking his family business to the next level.
Well, we seek to be a complete food solution company, not just a food catering company.
In a food paradise like Singapore, with a plethora of culinary delights, eating is a national pastime and food a national obsession. But for this young successor, food is where his heart is.
The food is life, it is sustenance, it's part of our culture, it is joy, anger, the warmth of family, it's a whole lot of emotions. So I guess when it comes to serving food, we have to bring those emotions through to the food as well. And a lot of it depends on our mindset, our attitude when we are preparing the foods. A myriad of emotions, but for me, you can call me kind of a live to eat kind of guy.
The passionate leader running his family's catering business joined his father Daniel Ang when he was 25 years old.
It developed naturally. We didn't decide that I would take the lead, but I guess that was how things developed. I was the first from my generation to join the business, and I guess I had a certain vision for where I wanted the business to be, and we still run the business on a consensus, but for strategic purposes, there needs to be a single voice, especially during crises.
His learning curve was very steep because he came in like what we call a baptism of fire, whereby there are a lot of changes. We were doing acquisition, where acquisition you have a lot of due diligence to do, both financial and legal, and he was immersed into it. It was something new to him.
Few months into his role, Reuben roped in his cousin, Job Ang, and his sister, Rachel Ang, to be part of his team. Job focuses on kitchen and frontline operations, while Rachel handles human resources.
What strikes me most about Reuben is that he is a visionary. So he has a lot of ideas about where he wants the companies to be.
We started as a family business, and it is a family values that we have for one another, the family members, the staff, and everybody, stakeholders in it.
Originally called Elsie's Kitchen, Reuben spearheaded its rebranding to Hesed and Emet to reposition the brand according to changing market trends.
The holding company Hesed and Emet afforded us that latitude to explore beyond our traditional offerings. So Elsie's Kitchen was always understood as a very heritage brand. We wanted to develop brands that would be more effective in catering to other audiences.
It really helped not only us, but also our customers to start differentiating our different brands from one another. So it really gave a certain direction for each brand in terms of where the menu should be going and where, what kind of outlook, what kind of marketing collateral should be going with each brand.
As a Christian family, the two words, the Hebrew words Hesed and Emet, Hesed meaning loving kindness and Emet meaning a holistic truthfulness, were principles that were integral to our beliefs and who we were. And we wanted those principles to guide us in our plans and influence our decisions moving ahead.
The family business was started in 1954 by the first-generation Ang family. They were operating the canteens for the British Royal Air Force in Seletar, Tengah, and Changi in Singapore. Daniel was only 18 years old when he started working as a cook in his father's canteens.
We took a break when the British withdrew from Singapore, and the armed forces came into being, the Singapore Armed Forces. We decided to take a break, and my father went into other area of business.
After a long hiatus post-independence, second-generation Daniel and his 4 siblings registered Elsie's Kitchen as a company in 1986.
My second sister, Elsie, and my elder sister, Patty, were helping my father in their operations. They were much older than me, and so they were at the forefront of my dad's business in the early years. So because of their love and passion for food, we decided to name the business under my second sister's name, which is Elsie's.
I think spending time in my early years in the family business, I definitely gained an appreciation that my father and his siblings had, which was the dedication to hard work and the pride they had in their craft. And for me, that continued to guide us in what we did today.
Like his father, Reuben started young. He was only 16 when he started learning the ropes from Daniel. As a boy, Reuben grew up packing bento boxes. And in his teenage years, he took on stewarding duties at catering events.
I get him involved in various departments of running the business. I want to give him a rounded kind of exposure so that he will know the nitty-gritty of the business, because it's not all roses, because there are parts that where you really got to be very hands-on. You got to dirty your hands and all that. And so that form early stage of training, I believe, do well for him.
So I only began coming here the first 2 years into my job, so about 25, 26. My father bring me here in the middle of the night, usually 12:30, 1 a.m. That's when this place will be the busiest. I wasn't excited about waking up in the middle of the night. I understood why my father wanted to bring me here, so I could understand about where our food comes from, to learn about the prices, the availability of produce, so that we can really bring the freshest ingredients in our menu. And it was fun for us because that was play as well. When we were a bit older, 16, my father made a concerted effort to expose us to the business. I guess it was both a sense of responsibility, but also an interest for food that had developed over the years growing up that brought me here.
It's a responsibility that Reuben took very seriously. He would go to any length to achieve excellence, even get his hands dirty to help him run a profitable business. As a third-generation leader of his family's catering business, Hesed and Emet, Reuben Ang sets his sights high. After taking over as managing director of the company in 2012, he made major improvements to its central kitchen.
I guess automation and mechanization comes from a necessity. In the F&B industry in Singapore, you cannot but automate in order to survive and to continue to be sustainable in your growth, because the manpower is just not coming. You don't expect the same influx of labor.
The trickiest part, however, was revamping the menu that had been in place for almost 30 years. Reuben challenged the idea of having safe options. He's not one to get complacent.
The kind of foods that you would expect from a caterer. Very safe dishes, things like fried rice, fried bee-hoon, curry chicken, the staples that we have at social gatherings. I would say that the dishes today, clearer expression of what the brands mean. Rooted in heritage and yet innovative in delivery. The new menu was able to deliver that in innovative formats.
As a hands-on leader, Reuben prefers to co-create new dishes with his kitchen staff.
Morning, Chef.
To help himself do this better, he has enrolled at the Asian Culinary Institute to learn a new skill and to become a certified chef.
He loves food, And that's why he enrolled himself in the culinary school. And that's good for him, because being one in the trade, you must know the basic of what you are doing. And that's what I'm very happy and proud of also.
Well, I think it's an asset for owners in the F&B industry to understand their trade better. But for me, it's also about my passion. It's a joy to be able, when your work becomes your play and your play becomes your work. So for me, that's the reason why I do it. And that's one of the reasons why I take out a few months within the year to upgrade my skills and to learn, so that I can understand the operations better. And a lot of times it comes from a frustration of not being able to communicate what I want to the chefs. And now I understand them better. I understand why certain things are doable and some things are not.
Having built the family business for over 6 decades, the Ang family understands the need to adapt with the times. A big change is in the way communication structures have been formalized to maintain harmonious relationships.
During my time, we practiced this filial piety, whereby whatever our fathers want us to do, we just do it. Yeah. So it is very different today, and it's because they are of different generations.
It's not always easy. Sometimes you take a long time to convince them. I wouldn't say that they accept all our proposals, definitely not. But it's important to be patient. After all, they have worked in this industry for a very long time.
We are all like induction cookers. We heat up really fast and then we kind of dissipate heat very quickly as well. So there are times where we disagree and sometimes we can get quite vocal, but because we understand each other very well and we don't hold grudges, we still run the business today on consensus. And that can be challenging at times. Between the generations, I think it depends a lot on how we communicate and help each other understand.
Staying nimble is vital in the competitive food industry here. An expansion into new lines of business is one way to get ahead. As an energetic leader, Ruben is always looking out for new avenues for growth.
Now planning for the launch of our event styling brand called Quaint Revelry, and to enhance the event to the whole event styling experience. So we believe that this will bring our company to the next level. The dessert is going to be a round table. We developed a brand that will provide complementary services to our existing clients. A lot of times when we meet them, they have particular F&B requirements. But we realized that a lot of times the whole entire service experience hinges on so much more than just the food. Yeah, you can break it with other.
Part of Ruben's diversification plan for his family-run business is to move beyond catering.
Event styling experience. So
He wants to build a complete food solutions company.
the next time we meet, let's do a mock-up together with the food. I'll work with the kitchen, get a better idea of what the event is going to look like, and then if it's possible, let's do a side recce as well. Sure. Okay? Thanks, guys. Good job.
An expansion that comes out of necessity, because to stay relevant, you need to constantly innovate. Successor Ruben Ang has his work cut out for him. With all thriving family businesses, there is often the daunting challenge of sustaining business growth in the 3rd generation and beyond. For now, Ruben seems upbeat.
I'm proud of where we have come, how far we have come, and the changes that we have made. It's an affirmation that we are moving in the right direction, and we are excited for the future.
For Ruben, business expansion is key to surviving beyond the 3rd generation.
You have your usual challenges, rising rentals, difficulty of getting staff. If you want to stick to your traditional models, then you've got to expect that it's going to be harder over the years. The Singapore F&B market cannot be reliant on labor, and that's why we have been investing heavily in productivity measures, workflow redesign of our kitchens, relying on automation.
A couple of weeks from now, Ruben will be launching his new event styling company, AQR. Today, he's heading out to recce the location.
extra cooking station. I got the barbecue.
It is doubly stressful for Ruben.
More of a statement point.
He's launching AQR at his sister's wedding.
Well, there are lots of expectations, I must say, from the family, from guests, from friends, and even from ourselves, because we want to launch the brand well, and we want to execute the wedding excellently as well.
It's a busy time for the team as they're putting on the finishing touches. The final design has undergone several rounds of discussions and meticulous planning.
So this is where we do the mock-up for the actual day to look at the actual layout of the props as well as the food. So we have a better idea whether there's any issues with the height, the colors, the matching of the textiles together with the rest of the props.
We have our own florist team, we have our own creative department. We curate things even from sourcing for materials, from going to the wholesale flowers market to source for the actual flowers that we want, the leaves that we want, the linen that we want, even going overseas to source for the materials. I think in the older generation, none of this would have happened.
So I think the taste test today is great. Just the minor adjustments that we talked about, the glaze and the filling for the cream puffs. We need to look at the components again. Make sure we keep what we see today and then reproduce it on the day itself. So, yeah, good job, guys. Look forward to exciting concept.
Ruben, I would say I'm proud that he's a very bright boy. It's plus factor. He is quite amiable. And he brings with him his training as a business grad, which I do not have the privilege of having it. Since he come in, he has inject new life into the company. He has rebranded the company to better reflect its core values.
I think with Ruben and Job, I think we all have different strengths. We are never fighting over who gets the bigger slice of cake, but we are actually very happy to work together. We have our own passions, our own strengths. Mine is with dealing with people, so I naturally do HR. Ruben is more, he's a go-getter, so he naturally hates the company, and then Job has his passions about food and operations, so that's how he got into doing F&B operations.
Many months of painstaking work and focusing on finer details have now come to fruition. It's the inaugural show for the team's new event styling company.
As we planned, so far so good, everything is quite smooth. Yeah, I would say we are meeting expectations. We went through a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. Well, I guess in the near future, we expect that the market and the consumers will become more and more discerning. We need to continuously evolve and improve on our services. Today's launch of AQR is one of the things that we are doing in line with that. So we anticipate a lot of demand in terms of creative and event styling.
Everything seems to go on very well. They have come a long way, and I think they are doing very well. Of course, there's some room to go, but I think they have done wonderfully well. My faith and trust in them has grown tremendously after today's event.
In the past 5 years, we have gained that clarity in what each brand means within our portfolio. We have refreshed the brands, we have articulated them in our new menus, we have invested in infrastructure, in mechanization, retaining knowledge so that our workforce is well equipped for the future. And just as my parents placed no expectations on me when they passed on the family business to us, I don't know what the future holds for the next generation. But what they leave with us is that passion for food, and we want to do our best to pave the way for the next generation with a solid base of competencies, of that strong tradition and passion for food, for them to pursue their interests in the future.
The next few years promise to be exciting times for the company. Ruben and his team are exploring new market opportunities and looking at expansion into new geographies and customer segments.
We have to really diversify. And we are the growth channel for Hesed and Emet will be other areas of businesses in F&B. Still related, we are thinking of going international with ready-to-cook meal and ready-to-eat meals. Because it is a very small and saturated market. That is one area of growth. And the other will be through acquisition of other companies which have that same synergy with the rest of the businesses.
We are very lucky that we are one of the few large players still around. And for us, the focus now is to more to consolidate, I think, ourselves in Singapore, build a brand name for ourselves before we expand overseas.
My biggest fear is that being in the business for the past 5 years and being so much involved in the business that you're so immersed in it that, as we go on, we become complacent. We can become numb to how our performance is, how our progress is like. We don't have a good gauge of who we are and what we are doing and how we are doing it. Maybe we can become deaf to feedback, and we can stagnate in our pursuit for excellence. We can become satisfied with imperfection, with failures, and just brush them aside. I hope that we continue to pursue that excellence and continue to strive to be better, to have that discontentment with being mediocre, so that we can continue to be better each day and improve.